Quest 4. The question everyone's been asking in the VR space, what is the Quest 4? When is it going to be? And a lot of the information we've had has had to come through leaks and the rumor mill. Originally, it sounded like Meta was going to launch a Quest 4 in 2026, which was already a surprise to some people because we had seen a pretty clear annual cycle of a new Quest coming out. Quest 2, Quest Pro, Quest 3, Quest 3S, and now that 2025 may be the first year we're not getting one, 2026 was planned, and then everything pushed towards 2027. But in rare form, Meta is going to be showing off some new VR headsets, all still in the prototype stage, this week at SIGGRAPH in Canada. And really exciting news personally here for the channel for next week, we are gonna be there trying these headsets out. Reality Labs, the division of Meta that handles the future of VR and other wearables, is always in a cycle of trying new things, and they're going to be showing off 3 new headsets that all may have features, research, and designs that could go into the Quest 4, with different headsets focusing on different potential details, some focusing on ultra wide field of view VR, coming much closer to what the human eye can actually perceive, others focusing on hyper realism, super brightness, with one looking like you took a Quest 2 and just stretched the front of it out so far it's unbelievable. One headset that they're showing off that we've got to hope takes some of its details over to Quest 4 is the Tiramisu, which they are saying is hyper realistic VR. 3 times the contrast of the Quest 3, an angular resolution of 90 pixels per degree, which is an extremely high PPD. The Vario Aero headset that people were stunned by its realness had a 35 PPD in it, 35 pixels per degree. 90 pixels per degree is about 3.6 times that of the Quest 3, and the brightness going all the way up to 1400 nits, which is 14 times that of the Quest 3. Obviously, those specs are way beyond probably what we'd see for a Quest 4, but even a compromise between the Quest 3 and that would be a huge improvement. But this one will have a small field of view, 33 degrees by 33 degrees. But they're saying with this field of view, brightness, and pixel density, this could rival real life, comparable to even to what we see with HDR TVs right now. Still using the same inside-out tracking from the Quest 2 though, something that I can't wait to get my eyes in and report back to you as far as how this actually looks versus real life. The Boba 3, a headset that has an ultra wide field of view, VR and MR. Currently, if you've used most modern VR headsets, you know what I'm talking about when I say the binocular effect. You're looking at screens, but it feels like there's black circles around them that cut off all of your vision outside of that. It's almost like you're looking through a pair of binoculars when you're playing, and that's because most VR headsets have a field of view roughly around 110 degrees, which is half what a lot of people have, which is around 200 or 220 degree field of view based on your head shape, eye spacing, all kinds of things. But the Boba 3 has a horizontal field of view of 180 degrees and a vertical field of view of 120. And for comparison's sake, the Quest 3 has 110 degree horizontal and only 96 vertical. And the wild thing about this headset is it looks comparable to a lot of what we've seen out there in the world already. For a long time now, field of view has been an easy trade-off for developers to make for any VR headset because 1, lenses that can accommodate that were intricate, had to be specially designed, and 2, just the extra computing power it took to get beyond that 110 field of view was a lot more than it was worth, especially with mobile processors like what the Quest has. There are years of prototypes that have been tested. The Boba 3 is actually the 3rd one. They didn't just throw a 3 on there because of the Quest. And you can see pictures of the Boba 1, the Boba 2, and now the Boba 3. Bringing up questions, of course, of what is that ultralight headset that's coming next year in 2026, and what would the Quest 4 take from these, or could it even be something similar to the Boba 3? We'll report back as soon as we get to try these out. Today, Clawball has reached its full release. If you don't know about Clawball already, it's a really fast-paced soccer-style game. You play as a cat, you bounce around, try to use cat maneuvers to get the ball in your enemy's goal, and I got to get in and play it with a bunch of other content creators. It's been in early access for a while, so a lot of you probably know about it. We've talked about it in free-to-play videos before. The game's totally free. There's a big lobby you can hang out and bounce around. There's cat stuff to play with. I got to go in and say hi to my friends there. You can also check out all the different cosmetics you can get, things you can do to customize your cat. You hang out with your friends that lobby, but then you get into the game and it gets intense. You're using real motion with your arms, you're bouncing, you can pull your claws out to latch onto walls and climb stuff. So with all that, it ends up being a real workout playing the game. This is the same developer that made the Pixel Rip series. We actually got to meet Anna at Connect. She's super cool. She gave me one of her grandmother's crocheted characters of Dot. But this is their next big release already. It's super popular, totally free. And as of today, it is live and out there. So if you haven't gotten it already, there will be a link down below to get you over to that game. There's the soccer aspect of it. There's also items and power-ups and things around the game that can make it crazy if you know what you're doing at it. It's a fun time and it's totally free. So get a group of your friends, get in and check it out. Thanks to them for sponsoring this week's news, and thanks for bringing another game game to the community that's totally free to play, but also has people up and moving and doing crazy maneuvers. Connect next month in September in the Meta convention each year where they talk about what they're dropping. Typically they drop the new headsets, although this year it might just be some sort of new glasses. They usually open pre-orders that same weekend and then products deliver the following month. It's still a question mark of what exactly we're going to see, and Boz teased a lot while also teasing pretty much nothing at the same time in his recent AMA.
What can I hint? Big wearables announcements. Very exciting. Obviously AI, especially AI plus wearables, I think is going to be big. AI plus metaverse software, Horizon software, exciting announcements there. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to.
Saying a lot to look forward to, but bringing up big wearables, we've all been waiting on either the next Meta Ray-Bans, Meta's own Celeste headset, which could be their own version of smart glasses that don't have a big brand name tied to them, but would have some kind of HUD in the right eye where you could potentially read text messages, see the pictures that you've taken, previews of them, or have other notifications in there. This likely paired with some kind of wristband that is going to help you be able to control these with gesture-based hand movements, but also may relocate some of the computational power to your wrist. He, of course, brings up all the big buzzwords right now. AI, still metaverse, saying metaverse software, Horizon, the word we're all sick of, and MetaConnect is already barely a month away, September 17th, 18th. We don't know if we're going to be there by any chance, but either way, we will be streaming it here live to react with you, see what's going on, see what's announced. We're not expecting any big sort of Quest announcements or anything there, but tell me your predictions in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them. And even though technology in the prototype stage might be allowing us to see a glimpse of what the most realistic VR could ever look like, an even bigger problem than the headsets not having the power to do it is the amount of hours it takes to render and create these things by developers and people. And that's where publications are hypothesizing that AI might be the key to doing all of this. A trailer here for Google's new DeepMind Genie 3 AI model showing what it could look like where every frame is entirely AI generated with no traditional rendering or any image input involved at all. An AI that you could simply prompt with words would fill in everything for you, something that we've already seen possibilities of with a Horizon OS and Horizon worlds being built completely through prompts and generative AI filling in all the gaps. Imagine the difference between a developer having to go in and build an entire cyberpunk world or telling an AI, build me a cyberpunk world for my game, and it just does it automatically. The implications of anyone being able to become a developer and do these things with that kind of simplicity are wild, and probably not something we're going to see quite yet in VR, but Boz did tease AI, Horizon OS, and all that. Maybe we'll see some previews to this. And although in the current world, Meta seems to be the leader in AI smart glasses, other companies are showing off their ideas and coming out with much lower price tags. Brilliant Lab unveiled an all-day smart glasses that has its color display, and pre-orders are only $300. And something that seems too good to be true, some of the specs is weighing 40 grams, 14-hour battery life, an AI assistant, a color display, AI keeping track of things going on in your life that it sees that it can even recall later, bone conduction, all in a form factor that really looks like a normal pair of glasses. All of this and $300. I'm actually tempted to go pre-order a set myself just to see, although there is subscriptions with this. Well, what do you think? We talked recently about how Meta-owned Beat Saber decided to drop PSVR and PSVR 2 support randomly right after PSVR 2 controllers had been announced to work with Apple Vision Pro, and now the plot thickens further as PSVR 2 announces that Beat Saber was still its best-selling game in July, even though support was ended for it. Of course, it will still be one-player playable, but PSVR already didn't have support for mods or aftermarket songs, and now it loses multiplayer when that support gets shut down in January, but it's still a strong seller on PSVR 2, at least as far as PSVR 2 games sell. No surprise even this far in, Beat Saber is still one of the biggest games of all time in VR, but it does make you question, is it worth cutting support to PSVR 2 if it's still selling this well? Or maybe it makes more sense because more copies have sold even after announcing that. Good news for Questers though. We talked about Arcanage coming out on PCVR, on PSVR 2, an amazing looking game from the same developers of Shadow Legends, not Raid Shadow Legends, don't cut to that crap, but Shadow Legends, a game on PSVR I personally played, really enjoyed. It's on the channel still from back in the day. Arcanage is making it over to Quest 3 with all of the content that Steam and PSVR 2 editions had, running at a native 72 frames per second though, to make sure that the physics system in the game, the combat, all feel just as good on Quest. New trailer you saw, of course, if you look at it versus the PSVR 2 or the PC, doesn't look like as detailed of textures, but the fact that they got this whole game to work on Quest is amazing. But it's wild to see what the Quest 3 is doing these days. We're packing up and heading up to SIGGRAPH up in Canada. In fact, the day this comes out, I think we'll be up there testing those prototype headsets, so watch out for all that there. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I'll probably be dropping some stories and stuff about that in the meantime, and then watch out here for videos on those headsets. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll try and do my best to answer all those as well. Really excited to be able to do that, but it's all because of you. you out there. Thank you once again being here, showing up, supporting our channel. It really means the world to me. Thank you, and I'll see you in another reality.